We are now just 6 days away into the Nintendo Switch 2 Nintendo Direct, and man, the hype couldn't be higher. Today, we also got the last Switch 1 Nintendo Direct, and there's a lot to go over with that and how it could actually impact Switch 2. There's a lot to talk about, so I don't want to waste too much time. Let's quickly get into the question of the day. Today's question comes from Sailing Teo that states, if Nintendo would release a new IP for the Switch 2, what would you hope for it to be like? I kind of touched on this before with another question that had to do with a new Nintendo series that I would like to see, so it'll kind of be the same answer, but a little bit different. At the end of the day, I think Nintendo needs more online multiplayer games. I mean, outside of like Mario Kart, Smash Brothers, and Splatoon, there's really nothing else, and Mario Kart and Smash Brothers aren't really online focused. Like, they're not the main parts of the game the way it is for Splatoon. Like, you literally need online to play Splatoon and actually experience that full game, so something like that would be really cool. Maybe a new shooter that actually uses like real shooting mechanics, bullets, stuff like that, but with Nintendo's own spin on it could be really cool, whether it be a first person or third person shooter. That, and I also want to see more games that maybe utilize better combat. You know, for instance, something more of a, you know, Elder Scrolls Dark Soul-like game. I would love to see a Souls-like game from Nintendo and their own spin on it, kind of like Another Crab's Treasure. Something like that from Nintendo would be really cool, having unique characters and stuff, and, you know, maybe it's its own new twist, but something with some real fun combat, because Zelda games are great, but the combat isn't really there. Like, it's just kind of button mashing and stuff like that. So something like Hyrule Warriors mixed with Zelda, giving us actual combat and maybe even a new character and something, a new complete series with a new IP, could be really cool. We only have about 5 questions left, so make sure that you get your comments in by typing the word hype in all caps, followed by your Switch 2 hype comment. Some of these final Switch 2 hype comments might be turned into big videos entirely, so make sure these are some really big, really good questions that you come up with. But the Nintendo Direct happened. It came and it kind of went. It was okay for what it was. It really didn't give us a whole lot to be excited about, but I think it did tell us a lot that we need to know about Switch 2, which is super exciting. So first off, let's talk about what big things actually came out in this show. Metroid Prime 4 finally got another reveal, and it looks really, really good. In fact, it looks great. I can't wait to learn more and see more about the game, and I even like her new psychic abilities, being able to like move her own beam and different things around the environment. It's really cool, and I think this game is going to be awesome, but one thing that it showed us right away is that Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is probably not going to be shown off in the Switch 2 Nintendo Direct, because why else would it be here? That's kind of what I got from this, so I don't think we're actually going to see anything from Metroid Prime in the Switch 2 Direct, which opens the door for even more new announcements to be revealed. I think every single game now that's going to appear in the Switch 2 Direct next week is going to be something completely new outside of the new Mario Kart we know is coming. Also, can we talk about Samus's new red and black suit real quick, because this is without a doubt the hardest design I've ever seen. Like, I didn't think they could get better than some of the suits that we've seen in the other Prime games, like the light suit. This thing is beautiful. I'm guessing it's going to be like the psychic suit or something, but man, this thing is so cool. It's like a blend of Samus's suit and like Iron Man suit or something. Like, this is just awesome. Prime 4 still doesn't have a release date, as it's just slated for 2025, so odds are it's going to come out on both Switch 2 and Switch 1. They also announced one of the 2 things that I really wanted to see so far. It was Kid Icarus Uprising and Rhythm Heaven, and at least we got Rhythm Heaven, which I'm super excited about, called Rhythm Heaven Groove, as this looks like a really fun game and I can't wait for it. It's crazy to me that this game is slated for 2026. Why in the world is a game like Rhythm Heaven, which to me doesn't take anywhere near as long as maybe other franchises, taking until 2026 to release? Like, that is just bizarre to me. And finally, one prediction I can stop seeing in the comments section of my videos is Tomodachi Life, because it's finally happening with Tomodachi Life Living the Dream, a brand new Tomodachi Life game coming to Nintendo Switch, I guess still, but in 2026 as well. What is happening? So yes, both Rhythm Heaven and Tomodachi Life, and some of the other games even announced, were slated for late 2025 and even 2026, which probably still tells me that all these games announced in the show are coming to both Switch 1 and Switch 2, to not abandon that Switch 1 user base at the start. Nintendo also gave us some pretty unique updates as we're getting ready for the Switch 2 reveal, showing us, for instance, brand new virtual game cards that you can have. So if you buy a game virtually, it'll give you a virtual game card that you can store on 2 different Switches. So you can bring it from your Switch to the other Switch, or you can even lend it out to somebody on your family plan for them to play it for like 2 weeks, and then it will be sent back to your Switch. So this is pretty cool, and it might even have like an influence on how you're going to transfer your data from this Switch to the Switch 2, which is super cool. But yeah, just kind of a quality of life thing with organizing your own games. Then Nintendo came out and announced Nintendo Today, a brand new smartphone app that's going to start getting updates the day of the Switch 2 Nintendo Direct, being April 2nd, where you'll get daily news and updates on upcoming games and stuff. So if this is actually going to be as good as I think it is, this could be awesome. Where they could share a brand new trailer for the new 3D Mario or Mario Kart, and instead of us waiting like 4 or 5 months for any type of new information, they could actually give us little bite-sized pieces of daily info on the game, like, hey, this character's returning to Mario Kart 9, or hey, here's some information about this track that we've shown and stuff, and just kind of give us little news that we can even talk about every day, which is really cool. So in a way, it's like a little Nintendo Twitter, which I actually found to be pretty interesting. So without a doubt, it wasn't an absolutely terrible Nintendo Direct, but it just didn't really have much. It felt like a third-party partner showcase, but, you know, with just a couple of tiny games sprinkled in there, and of course showing more Metroid Prime 4. But it probably was going to be a partner showcase at one time, but they definitely felt like they were just getting these games out of the way. But I have a lot of questions and a lot of things leading into the Switch 2. For instance, no release dates. Nothing slated for this year. Nothing for 2025, which is kind of crazy besides like Metroid Prime 4. I mean, that's the only thing, and that doesn't even have a release date yet. So all we know is the year of 2025. Why? Nintendo doesn't have anything for this year? Well, that's because probably everything coming out this year is going to be a major Switch 2 game, which is pretty interesting though, because to me, they don't want to leave and abandon the Switch 1 base. But why in the world is there no Switch 1 games coming? I don't know if these Switch 2 games are going to be able to be played on both Switch 1 or Switch 2. I kind of hope not, because it's then going to kind of defeat the purpose of even getting a Switch 2. I don't know. Maybe they're all going to be cross-released for like a year or something like that. It's hard to say. This also tells me that maybe Switch 2 is actually coming very, very soon. Like, I'm even talking about maybe even late April, early May, because there's just no games to tie us over until then. They're like literally making us wait for this Switch 2 show. And also, with no real games announced, and like I said, already showing off Prime 4, it shows me that this show has a lot of new things to announce, like a lot. We also know information about pre-orders because apparently Best Buy had leaked, I think Best Buy of Canada, that pre-orders will be going live on April 2nd, which is when the show actually airs, so probably right after the show, which we've all kind of predicted by now. But then I guess Nintendo called them because they immediately took it down. Apparently there must have been something also that was up, kind of giving us a hint at how long the show is, because as this user, the real DRTRE81 states, and if the rumor about the Switch 2 pre-order start is correct, that means that the Switch 2 Direct is roughly an hour long, which I already kind of predicted this. I already said it was going to be around 45 minutes to an hour, so having an hour-long presentation is very similar to what they did with the Switch 1 presentation. Super exciting. A lot of great stuff can be announced in that time, like 30 minutes for just the console itself, and they could give us 30 minutes of games. Also, on that brand new Nintendo Today app, they've also already shown off a picture of the Nintendo Switch 2, and if you look closely, it has that C button filled out now, because on the original trailer, there was no C on that button, but now it is, which has already been leaked a while ago, so we knew it was going to be a C button, you know, once again, showing that Nintendo was hiding this for a reason. Is it going to be something with Connect, or maybe with Chat, Community button? Who knows? We're going to have to wait and see. Even for not having a release date, we have the box art for Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, which looks pretty daggone insane. Like, I'm loving the way this game is looking, and Samus's suits, like, it just looks too good. It's weird that we have a box art and not the release date, so it is making me still wonder, is there a potential chance for us seeing more about Metroid Prime 4 Beyond in the Switch 2 Direct? I don't know. Maybe it'll give us an official, like, actual action gameplay trailer or something. I don't know, but yeah, here's the box art. With all this information out, I can now probably make a prediction video for this Switch 2 Nintendo Direct, which will probably air tomorrow, but let me know in the comments down below, what do you think about today's Nintendo Direct? Or were you happy? Were you sad? Does it not matter to you because next week is the big juicy stuff? Definitely let me know, and thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things Nintendo, and like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See you guys.